I'm going to try to do a quick video and try not to be redundant. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about unpackaging and unboxing a Vallon VMH3CS, I believe it's called. I have had this out, and I wanted to talk more about some of the finer points that when you get your machine in and you want to figure out what needs to be done when you get one of these brand new things in here, care points, things you need to maintain and watch for. This is coming out dirty. I've been hunting with it and I still haven't cleaned it up. So this is a good time for me to show you. You will typically get some dust. They're fairly clean, but you will still get some dust from Afghanistan. Now this isn't Afghanistan dust, but I just wanted to show you. This is your coil and lower rod, and you see how it has threads. It screws on. One place you want to maintain is these threads. You want to keep cleaned up, and I take and put some silicone grease on them. You get that at the parts store in a tube, kind of like a caulk tube. If you want to get you use it for everything, so don't worry about spending $5-6 on a tube of it. Use it everywhere. Things you may want to make adjustments to is, if that's a bit tight, you can come back off into here, or I think it's here actually. Don't get me wrong. But one of the main things is the main unit, as you may have found out in your search for one of these, is that it is somewhat waterproof. And here is the first thing you're going to look for. We have a O-ring here, and it's rather small, so you want to take care of it. Be very careful in handling it. Make sure you get a nice fresh coating of silicone grease on it to keep that O-ring supple. Okay, right in around this housing where I'm turning it, there's a rubber gasket in here. That's, unless you're confident, I would not try to break into that and check that seal, unless you want to. Feel that confident, go for it. The other main thing to worry about is here at the battery cap, you have a rather large O-ring. You can kind of pop it out, give that, see there's some silicone grease right there. Give that a nice coat of silicone grease. It may be dry. Okay. So, you got your Vallon, and you want to work some kinks out of it. So the first thing I did to help myself out is, you'll find these rabbit ears. They call these the rabbit ears version. Some of them have a full arm cuff. You can either do a modification, and guys are saying they use 4-inch PVC pipe, cut a piece off and then cut it in half, and that actually fits this curvature really well. And then you can go ahead and either epoxy it down or do whatever you're going to do to make that fast. What I did was I used a heat gun and just opened these rabbit ears up a little bit from coming up straight so it fits my arm. So if you have trouble with that, that's another quick option you can do first before you decide to commit with another arm cuff situation. Right now I have put on this little bungee type deal that goes onto this black rod. That's going to disappear soon. Reason being is the wire that runs back through the main shaft makes a turn in this back housing and runs back up into here, and I really don't want to put any pressure and stuff on that little black metal tubing. There's supposed to be another seal in here at the end of that black tube, and possibly back here, and another seal, sorry about that, another seal where the battery tube meets the main housing here. So there's some O-rings that you don't see, and like I say, it depends on how confident you feel about breaking into this thing and resealing and checking seals and putting, some new grease on it. Go for it. If you're going to be dunking it, a lot of the guys that I found on the geotech forums are saying, if you're going to dunk the thing completely, you might want to have a look over. They say you can send this back to Vallon for about 174 bucks, I think was what was said, and to have them go through it. But when you're paying $292 for one of these from Poland, you know, you're trying to find yourself a pulse induction metal detector that was within your price point, a very budget price point. So you're trying not to spend a lot of money. So if you want to get brave and do it yourself, I mean, go for it. And I may, as I learn more about it, and I'll gain a little more confidence into breaking into this thing. I'm trying to think of what else was something right off the bat. Right off the bat, you may find that this is either from Britain, a British version, or it may be an American version. The Americans, I believe, had something called the surf mode, and the British opted out of the surf mode, if I have that correct. There is a manual that can be found online. Now, mine from Poland did come with this manual. They went ahead and put that in there for me, but you can find this PDF for the VMH3CS online. There's several different sources. You just have to do a Google search for it, and you will find the full PDF. So if it starts talking about surf mode, and when you turn it on and try to put it in a surf mode, nothing happens, it's because you don't have surf mode. It's a British machine. This one is a British machine. Not really want to do an unbox thing, but you're going to get laminated cards for you know, people in the field can use this as a quick reference. This is kind of nice. One thing you may want to do, because you have the series of buttons which you'll hold down when you turn the thing on, and to make it either LED only, vibrate and beep only, LED and beep only. There's a bunch of different things you can make it do. So it wouldn't be bad to take this whole thing and fold it up, staple it, fold it up, put it in your back pocket when you're hunting your first few times till you get used to knowing what the settings are. Ground balance, there's only one place to ground balance. You'll find that in the mineral. This thing turns on here at the front. First setting is going to be normal. Then it's going to go to mineral, and in mineral you can do a ground balance on it. And again, you'll find that in the procedure how to do that in the manual. It's very similar to manual ground balancing on things like AT Pros or White's V series machines. You know, where you take and hold down a particular button. I believe it's going to be the on this one. I haven't done it. Haven't been needing to use it in mineral. Use your pinpoint button here, and then you know, do the ground pump. You know, find a place with no metal and pump it against the ground to balance. Otherwise, there is no balance in normal mode. And then to do all your settings for your volume and stuff, you'll switch it over to the furthest mode, which is here. Trying to think about when you're using it. If it's your first pulse induction metal detector, I found it really, really weird. It's almost like it reminded me of when you're searching like with your pinpoint on. Let's say you pulled your back, you're pressing down pinpoint, or you're pulling back the trigger on your whites, and you're searching in pinpoint mode or VCO. That's really what this feels like. The other thing that I haven't really gotten accustomed to is the pinpoint button option on here. It seems like every time I go to use the pinpoint, it's harder for me to actually find the target itself because it finds it from so far away. It's easier for me to do the XY sweep, real quick, sweeping on the XY axis to actually find, you know what I'm talking about, XY axis, you turn, anyway. XY axis, I found it much easier. Maybe there's something I'm not doing right. But you may find it a lot easier just to do that and skip the pinpoint at first if it's being bothersome. Either that or go on to the Geotech forums, and there's like a 65-page long write-up on, you know, everybody's putting in their input on this. And somebody may have come up with a better technique, and I may be just lacking it. But I do find that to be troublesome at first. Hopefully I figure out a technique and can easily pinpoint later, but right now I'm XY axis. So yeah, sorry, I'm showing you a dirty, I need to do some, that's why I got it out too, is to go ahead and do some cleaning. It does come in a very, very nice padded canvas pack. I really like it. It's not a problem for me to throw this thing in the car and go. This thing will come with what I just showed you. It's also going to come with something I'm not going to show you, which is a little acrylic test rod that has a piece of metal rod in it for testing its accuracy or testing if it's up to par. You're probably not going to use that, but you know, it's there. It does run on 3 D cells. You can modify. There is a way to do running parallel 18 650 batteries and make a housing yourself out of something like PVC pipe. There's another way of doing that if you want to lessen your weight and get away from the D cell. The 3 D cells is get 3 D cell converters where you put a couple of AA batteries in it, and then you have some nice rechargeable high milliamp hour AA batteries to put in that. That'll cut down your weight. And let's face it, you're probably not going to hunt for 8 hours, over 8 hours without a recharge anyway. So why not? You know. This is the headphones, and a lot of guys have made modifications. It's a piezo, I don't know, people say it all different. And you see the connector is this NATO 7 pin like they use for like the radios, military radios and stuff. So you're limited on your headphones choice. Either that or you have to build this transformer, and yeah, unless you're an electronical engineer or really nifty with that stuff, you probably, if you want to keep quiet, you'll probably use these. And they're meant for use with a helmet. Now you're only going to get the input into one ear, but it's loud. So you probably want to go into your machine and turn it down. But the one thing I have found is this is a chin strap. And you look really foolish with this thing. It's kind of uncomfortable. But instead, run this over. Choose your ear. I like left. Run this over a ball cap. Stuff this back off in your ball cap, and stuff this offset over here under your ball cap or whatever hat you're going to wear. Ta-da! Problem solved. I have no problem with this headphone. I can hear what's going on around me. Plus, I get plenty. I know if this thing is going off. Even if it's just the lowest squeak, you know, you just get the lowest little bit of a squeak, you're going to hear it. This isn't bad. So I don't really understand why people go ahead and want to put their sun rays and stuff like that and build put the transformer and everything on it. I don't get it. But hey, if you want to do it, more power to you if that's what you want. But that's the thing you need to watch out for, is that go ahead and clean those seals up that I showed you. Address your arm cuff situation. I did, in fact, I wanted it to be all the way back here. This thing slides back and forth and can be a pain. So what I did, all I did was took a little bit of a zip tie there, little bitty zip tie, and tightened it down real good. It's got, if I force it real hard, it'll move, but it keeps it back there. So I've got it set where I want it now, and that's just a quick, cheap, easy way to keep that thing from sliding back and forth on you and being finicky. My impressions, did my first hunt with it a couple weekends ago, and never having used a PI machine, I was really impressed at how such a small coil, well, I consider that a small coil, you know, versus a 13-inch coil on my VLF. But I was shocked and astounded the depth I was getting. I was literally taking my model Raven 25 and was going well past the footsteps on the shovel. I pulled out iron relics, broken files, things like that, 22 inches down. And of course I have this thing kicked up all the way to 14. That's the highest on your setting level for your sensitivity. I want to run it hot. That's what I bought it for, and I'm getting the results that I want. And even little bits of foil, yes, you're thinking, yes, it's a mine detector. It's not meant to pick up little bits of metal. No, this metal detector was designed to find mines with very minimal metal parts. In other words, just pieces of wire. Just little bits. Oh my gosh, the little pieces of chicken wire that I dug up this weekend, or not this weekend, but a few weekends ago. And it was deep. So, this is going to be my beep and dig and my surf detector. So when I need to get out there and I'm going to dig everything, this is it. When I go to the beach, this is it, because I don't want to have to worry about a little bit of the surf washing up on it. I don't think I'm going to go dunking the thing entirely until I do check out all the seals. But if you're interested in getting one of these things, that's kind of the first things you need to look out for, things to expect. And anyway, if you get one of these, I think you've probably done well for getting one under 300 bucks. Like I said, I got mine on eBay out of Poland. I'm very, very happy with it. I didn't spend $1,200 on a pulse induction machine, and this is living up to beyond my expectations. So if you're thinking about getting one, I think they're great. I may cuss it later as I learn, but it's kind of hard to beat at the price point. So yep, it's called the Vallon VMH3CS, and it is still in use by our NATO Armed Services still to this day. Alright folks, sorry I'm not a camera work guy. I hope everything was fine, but I'm going to take up any more of your time. If you have any questions or anything, put it in the comments below. I'll see if I can answer those. And you guys have a good one. Happy hunting. I hope you get what you want.